it was originally inspired, I think, by a mix of Swan Lake, Swan Lake animation, and then so that and maybe a little bit of Pocahontas and Ray Earth
Oh,
specifically.
yeah.
And I just got interested in the idea of there's this guy who doesn't want to come down from his throne, and he saw a threat to his power.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was thinking about it, I had three ideas that I don't want to let go, and so I merged them together into
What
a
are those?
trilogy.
What are those three ideas? All right, welcome back to the Comics Cube, everyone. I am with Joanna, Tinio, Calingo.
I
How are you? We are we are taping this during the extended community quarantine of the Philippines once again. And how did you get into comics, Joanna?
oh because of manga. Yeah, Sailor
Because
Moon. Yeah, it was really Sailor Moon because before that I wasn't really interested in comics. I had a few
Mhm.
comics. I mean, I draw and I am a Disney fan, but I don't read like funny comics. No,
Mhm.
but I remember owning the first comic I owned. I think that I tried to collect was an Ace publication, Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's a
remember those.
reprint here in the Philippines, and
Mhm.
then I tried collecting that, and then I remember collecting
Mm-mm.
Ikabod Bubuit. I don't remember how I got that, but that's also one of the things I read. And Garfield, but I wasn't really into drawing comics.
So what were you
I just
drawing?
uh animals. We used to have Funk and Wagnalls encyclopedia,
Mhm.
and I like drawing animals a lot, and I bookmarked every single animal picture in that encyclopedia in the series, and then I copied it. So and that's how I got interested in drawing animals, and then I decided to draw humans sometime after as in college.
Why?
I just
Why
love
was it because of Sailor Moon?
no the reason I mentioned Sailor Moon was because I got introduced to manga, the black and white comics. I was so used to reading colored ones like the ones I mentioned in Aladdin
Yeah.
because I liked Aladdin. I also read Pugad Baboy, and that was in black
Yes.
and white. But it's different when it's in book form. So I always thought it was like American comics and it had to be colored.
Mhm.
So I thought I you can't make comics without color because it doesn't look as appealing. Until I came across Sailor Moon. I used to watch it on Channel 5 before,
Yeah.
but I came late into the fandom. And then when I got interested, I found this little manga shop near our school. Then I saw it was in books, published in volumes. Then when I saw it, it was totally different. And I was blown away by the quality and how it looked in black and white. And I was really
It's
surprised. So when I
yeah.
got,
A lot of manga is like that, right? Like it looks
yeah,
like you get surprised at how good it looks in black and white. I remember the first time I saw the Naruto manga, and then I opened it up. The first shot is like this super elaborate, detailed background shot. It's like wow, I didn't expect this at all.
it was also different because shoujo manga drew people differently. Sometimes they're missing eyes because you're meant to understand the manga language. I mean, yung visual storytelling is
Yeah.
different from Americans. Uh, they assume they're I don't know how to explain that, but so my classmate mentioned it once. Uh, why is it missing ears? Why is it missing eyes? Where are the ears so big? They make remarks like that, and I can't answer them because I wasn't introduced to that before Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was one time in college no, in high school, our library was carrying foreign magazines, sorry, foreign publications, and then it so happened that one of the Japanese magazines featured the manga phenomenon
Yeah.
in Japan. And then the popular titles back then, each popular title they had a small feature, and then they explained why it was popular, including Sailor Moon. And then there was Ray Earth, and Ray Earth blew me away again. I had no access for I know access to see sorry, I had no access to Ray Earth, so it was there's this sample page that they were transforming, and it was so good. It looked so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, black and white can look like that,
Yeah.
right? And then when I got into college, I found friends who were also into anime and manga. And then we often talked about having our own stories published in the college. So
Mm-hmm.
we thought of, okay, let's make an anthology. And then we're just
The
going to put,
college was
oh, UP College of Fine Arts.
yeah, that seems pretty obvious to anybody who lives in the Philippines.
And
I
then
feel like that would be the safest guess.
and then we decided we want to make an anthology,
Mm-hmm.
but since we had limited resources, we decided it would be just 4 pages each story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my current comic title came from. But my general interest in making comics came from Sailor Moon, and then I had the story and yeah, and that anthology. So yeah, sure, let's try it.
Sailor
And
Moon.
it's also sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Then and then we thought it was we can make it or we can use a photocopier to make our own comics because it's black and white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would, pre-pandemic, they were still doing that whenever we go to Comic Cons.
Hmm.
Right? Print it, photocopy it, fold it over, staple it. Yeah.
Because it's cheap.
Hmm. And Sailor Moon, I feel like that's a manga, that's a comic that changed comics history, and it rarely ever gets talked about when people talk about the game changing comics. Why do you think that is? Like, I feel like I had Trina Robbins on the show once, and she said something to me off the record, which was something like Sailor Moon was changed comics publication because it got comics into bookstores in the States, and
Mm,
it also showed that there was a female audience for the medium.
mm.
So on, yeah.
Um, I attended no. I listened to this talk the other time. How Sailor Moon changed the comic landscape in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and she's right about that when she said that it opened the female market because most I'm not that familiar with the American Western
Yeah.
comics or how wide the audience is, but as far as I know, um, it the target audience of Western comics is all male
Mm. Yeah.
superheroes, mostly male.
Yeah.
If there are female readers, it's still catered mostly to guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Even.
when Sailor Moon came in, it opened doors for girls, for girly themed comics. I mean, Sailor Moon can get any more girlier. You have this, except for the fighting aspect. There's this girl who's in love, the princesses. um, what else? Yeah, girl power mostly. Being clumsy, high school. Oh, and the target audience with Sailor Moon is a little wider.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the age group. They
Yeah.
have middle schoolers up to college and professionals.
Basically, anyone who ever went to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, what's that?
And
It opened so many doors, and it was cool. She's cool. I
yeah.
mean,
Talk,
yeah.
talk to me about the basic idea of Cresci
Oh,
prophecies and how it came about.
um, okay. It was actually it was basically two concepts that I merged. I mean, three
Mm-hmm.
pala. Uh, it was originally inspired, I think, by a mix of Swan Lake, Swan Lake animation, and then so that and maybe a little bit of Pocahontas and Ray Earth
Oh,
specifically.
yeah.
And I just got interested in the idea of there's this guy who doesn't want to come down from his throne, and he saw a threat to his power.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was thinking about it, I had three ideas that I don't want to let go, and so I merged them together into
What
a
are those?
trilogy.
What are those three ideas?
The first idea was there's this, yeah, like I mentioned before, there's this god who was powerful, and someone was set to take his place, and he doesn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first one.
It's the first one.
And the second, there's this brother sister who uh, were also a threat to a village or something like that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember anymore. I'm sorry.
It was a while back. It was a while back.
It was a while back. And the third, I don't remember anymore. It was that long ago. I'm sorry.
But it's all in this. It's all in the. It's all in this series.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Uh, it was really difficult. Usually, when I think of stories, it's a musical.
Mm. And you do have songs in the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sing.
They sing.
They sing. As much as I wanted to sing them, of course, I'm not that good a singer. But I would like to imagine it if it were a movie or a play, they'd be singing.
They would be singing.
Yeah,
So wait, it would be a full-on musical, not just a play with some music.
yeah, some. uh, um, well, maybe if it's an anime or TV series, probably they won't sing except for the
Except for the
song
song itself.
parts.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if it's a play, you
But
want
if,
them to sing the whole
but
thing.
it's a play, I wanted a musical. Why? Di ba?
Yep. You
Why
may as
not
well.
all out? Hmm.
You may as well. So can you describe your main characters in the book?
Oh, I have two main characters. People mostly think that the only protagonist in the series is the girl. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's
Okay,
also on your
so
shirt.
yeah. I tried to make my own merch, so
Yeah.
here it is. Anyway, this is a god.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about the premise first. It's about there's this god who one day saw a dying girl in his vision,
Yeah.
and then he thought, "What the heck is this? Why are you showing this to me?" Something like that. And then
Who the
the
hell is
person
she?
shoot.
I've
Oh
never
yeah, who
seen
the
her.
hell is she? Why are you showing this? And then his crystal ball told him, "Oh, he's part of your future." What?
Oh.
And it goes what? And then where did she come from? I don't know. Something like that. And then eventually she pops up somewhere in the series. He thought she was not real.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, he thought, I don't care about this girl until he got smitten by her at some point. And then he decided, okay, I want to meet her. And then all that planning to meet her went didn't go as planned because of the antagonist, which is this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is my antagonist, a little bird. It's a bird in a robe. And this is the girl he saw. He
Mm-hmm.
thought she was pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how it started. There's also this ongoing prophecy that everybody forgot. And now it resurfaced because she showed up. So that's the gist of
That's
it.
the gist of the story. And how do they
Yeah.
all interact?
Mm. uh it gets messy sometime after. Really messy. The guy, Sweden, is a very proud god.
Yeah.
How do I put this? He's conceited.
As are most gods
Yes.
in
Conceited.
mythology.
He thought he needed nobody. Um, he's alone in his tower and he sees this girl and appears out of nowhere. And then he kind of gets irritated at the same time attracted to her. Because he noticed she was somewhat similar to him, but she's not. No, he's not sure why, which got him curious.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's how it went. And then the girl, she's generally. Uh, I heard some readers tell me that she seems like it's a damsel in distress.
Mm.
But maybe because the main goal of the guy is to save her.
Yeah.
That's what he thinks. He needs to save her. Well, maybe, maybe she,
Maybe. Maybe not.
maybe not. But he wants to save her actually.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something he's not telling people why he needed to do that or why she's being kept away from other people. Somewhere in the middle.
You're trying not to spoil it.
Yeah. They can read it. They
Yep.
can read it online if they
And
wanted to.
exactly, which brings me to my next question. So
Mm.
when did you start doing this book?
I started when we planned that anthology back in 1996.
1996, right? It
Yeah.
is now 2021.
Yes.
And you have so when I first saw this, you were selling it in Comic Con. You printed it out. You
Mm,
had hardcovers, which was new and
mm,
different for what was being offered. Again, most of the time, a lot of it was
mm.
people who were photocopying things and then fold it together, staple it. But you actually had higher production value. Can you explain why? How you were able to afford that?
Why I did that? uh, Around the time I published this book or published,
Mm-hmm.
I had it compiled. I already had around 12 issues
Mm-hmm.
or more. So I've been doing for years. I actually tried selling it 2000
Oh wow.
and
Okay.
2001 during C3 Con.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also this anime shop in Katipunan near Ateneo University, in ADMU. And then they have this little shop. And then Azrael, one of the proprietors, um, offered me a space for
His
my
real name was
comics.
Azrael.
Yes, I think.
Okay.
um, he asked me if I wanted to sell my comics there. So, sure.
Nice.
Sure. It
Eh,
was actually my first sale, I think,
yeah.
because I tried selling my comic. during FA week in fine arts, and I didn't really sell one except for one,
Mm-hmm.
which was bought by my friend. So
we all we all start somewhere.
yeah,
We all start
and
somewhere.
then they released my comics there, and then that got me going until C3 Con. I had 9 issues, and then I usually publish my single issues at least 10 copies.
Copies? Yeah.
So there was one time there was this event in uh SM Mega Mall, and all the convention centers were at the fourth floor.
Fourth floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and since
For the
we have
context of people watching this who have never been to SM Mega Mall, SM Mega Mall is a very, very big mall. It covers two different cities, two different zip codes, 4 floors. Wait, no, 5 floors, 4 buildings, and two
mm,
supermarkets. That's how big SM Mega Mall is. Oh, okay. I just
that
wanted to
was
give
pre
context.
that was pre ano pre renovation. Now it's a lot
All
bigger.
right. So
Mm,
2 buildings, still 5 floors. It's still big. It just got
yeah.
bigger.
So imagine 4 floors. We have to be there during ingress.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be there before the event begins. I was with my mom, and we carried this really big bag filled with comics, with 10 issues each. No, actually maybe 30 copies each. So imagine that. Then we carried it up the stairs because the escalators weren't functioning yet. So we carried that. Then I thought, I don't
Crazy.
want to do this anymore. It's so heavy. I mean, it's hard to keep track of all the stocks.
Yep.
It's really difficult. And I thought, I'll just compile it now. Why not compile it? I'm near school. I mean, no, I have access to bookbinders in my old university in UP Diliman. There's a little commercial complex in there that does photocopying work for students.
Yeah.
And then they also book binding for thesis. So I thought, yeah, why not?
Of
I
course.
studied
You
graphic
you
design.
had access to the best bookbinders
Yeah,
in the country.
they're
So
really good,
yeah.
really good, and I can afford it. I can
Mm-hmm.
make minimum copies
What was the minimum
of the book.
order back then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can make lesser than 5 copies of
Wow.
the book.
Okay. So you could make minimum copies. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I can also have it photocopied there, printed or photocopied there, and then I just had to collate it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll bring it there in sets, and then just tell them I want this covered in black, and then wrap it again with. Uh, but it was a different challenge because while I can have it bound, this wasn't available yet before.
Okay. Yeah. Of course.
This is a little more. No, this is more recent because it's they included the
Yeah.
printed cover. But before I had to wrap it with a jacket because the book itself, I mean the book cover, the the hardcover itself was just black leatherette cover because they didn't specialize in it wasn't available yet before.
Mm-hmm. Understood.
Then um now it is.
Yeah.
But back then I had to work around how to wrap it. I mean, I could do the mango way, the soft bound.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is I noticed that the soft bound books were a lot easier to
Fall apart.
uh yeah,
Yeah.
falls apart easily after some time, especially when you open it wide.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same with any books, right? Like you'd rather get the hardcover, not just because it looks nicer, but also because it stays together
mm,
better.
they sew it, they sew it very tightly.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. That's why I opted it, and the difference is just 10 pesos.
Oh wow.
So why not,
Why
right?
not?
I just why not? But it's challenging because um you have to consider the margins
Yeah.
and the size. I mean, uh, the pages itself, the dimensions of this one is 6.5 inches by 8.5.
Yeah, they're a little bigger. And then
So it should be bigger. So there was a lot of experimentation going on. Since I mentioned that I had to cover it jacket style,
mhm.
I have to say that there were only a few photocopying shops back then that print bigger in bigger formats.
Of course.
I remember I tried uh, print having my cover printed on 12 by 18, and
Yeah.
I asked them the price, and they told me it was 250 pesos
Per cover.
per cover. So I was a little frustrated because
Because you want
uh
it to look a certain way and then you can't afford it. It sucks, right?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean,
But the good thing about UP is you have multiple shops there, so you can canvas for prices.
mm-hmm.
And then luckily I found one that can at least print on A3, which was big
Okay.
enough to wrap. But when I tried doing that, it wasn't enough. It it will fall. It will still fall.
It'll fall apart. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
what I did was I thought of a way to wrap it with another jacket separate from the book, which is a plastic cover.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the plastic cover I used back then was a plastic cover used for logbooks for teachers, for
Mm-hmm.
grading.
Yeah.
So it was big enough, but it was too big. So I had to um, I call this. I have to fit it to the book.
Okay.
But the thing with having your books hardbound by batch or occasionally is the sizes get irregular.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Why? Why would it be
The,
regular?
it all depends on whether they cut it properly or not.
Oh. So it's human error.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So considering that the size changes over time, I had to print my cover bigger than the actual size,
Okay.
just in case it gets less smaller or bigger than usual. I can trim it, but I had to trim it one by one and fit each cover to each book to
Gotcha.
size. I have to fit it to size.
So yeah, here's my next question. How was your fandom built up, you know, over the years, and how would you describe the readership of the book?
At first I initially pitched it to girls
Okay.
because it's a love story, it's fantasy. You get that?
Well, we can
Because
like love stories too.
yeah, I know, but I encountered a friend in college that says, "I don't want to read it. It's too dreamy." So I thought, okay, so maybe it's not for guys. And then I thought it was strictly for girls. So I didn't really market it just for girls, but I just thought maybe that's the kind of audience I'll be getting. Until I encountered a few guys who really liked it. And
Yeah.
until now, I don't know why they liked it.
Don't say why.
They just told me it's good. That's it.
Okay.
But I never really thought of asking them why they really liked it. I remember in back in anime, one of my readers were girls, and then I really expected just girls
Mm-hmm.
until somebody wrote me an email and he told me, "Oh, this is great." In short, I really like this because he made time to send me an email. It was really
It's really
surprising.
cool.
And then I found other people uh who also read it, who also guys. It was surprising.
So would you say the
Uh,
percentage of your fandom is how many percent girls and how many
that's
percent guys?
50-50, I think.
Really?
50% guys, 50% girls.
That's and you did not expect that.
No.
And what about age group?
My main target is young adults,
Okay.
not really for teens, because I don't know, maybe I just thought the theme is, I don't know, it's not for kids talaga.
So is would you say that the target is you back in 1996?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and any person probably who's into shoujo manga.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I
That's
think
very.
what Julie, one of my fans, was sabi world building.
Mm. Yeah.
They say it's a world building, and they like Silaya. They like the lead girl,
Of
and the
course.
girls, they like the guy, the poggy, the handsome long haired guy. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what they tell me.
Yep. And you can tell you're a 90s kid because the guy has long hair.
Yeah, like I told you, one of the inspirations is Ray Earth, right?
Yeah.
And you have Zagato. My favorite element in Ray Earth is the Emeraude and Zagato love story. It
Mm-hmm.
was awesome. It was tragic, but it was awesome. I loved it. I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, when I read Sailor Moon 2, I found out it was also a tragic love story before it she became a warrior. But it also they had this really really sad love story in it, and I love it. Love it even if it's sad. Also, one of my readers, who bought my volume one, uh, always made me draw, and always requested the drawing from me because
Very
he loved it
cool.
so much. Yes, and he said he got attached to it because of that one incident when he used my volume one to fend off a holdupper who whacked it, whacked the book on his face. I think
It's a big book.
his cape, and it was sharp. The one
Yeah.
with the plastic cover
Yeah.
was really sharp.
It's sharp on the corner.
It was, yeah, it was sharp on the corner. And he said he was ashamed to tell me because it created a dent on the book. So,
I'm
so
sure you
imagine how hard that was.
I'm sure you've
That's
forgiven
pretty.
him.
That's pretty. No, I told him, why are you? Why would I be angry? I mean, it saved your life.
It saved his life. How
Yeah,
does it feel to know that your book saved someone's life? Quite literally.
yeah.
Quite literally, your book saved
Imagine
someone's life.
this thing is hard. It's hard. So I saved the life, and it was the
You
right
saved a
thing to
life.
do. Yeah, making this hard bond is the right thing to do. And then my friends, when they first saw the book too, they said, "Oh, it was like, I know, I can sell it in power books or something." It
See, that's the thing,
was
right?
cool.
It's the thing about decisions we make. If you didn't make that
Mm.
book, if you didn't go hardcover on that book, that guy would have died.
Yeah, or got hurt, or got his
you,
money stolen, whatever.
you, so you literally saved somebody's life
Yes,
by
I cannot
making
forget that.
by
I cannot
making
forget that
that
story.
decision.
Yes,
And you are now available on Pen Lab. Let's talk about Pen Lab.
yes,
You're available on
yes.
Pen Lab.
Mm.
How did you get on Pen Lab, and what are the benefits of being on Pen Lab?
uh, Bernie invited us, me and Melvin, to publish on PenLab. We got invited. And then he said, "You have this site that will upload your comics." I was already on Mangaido back then.
Okay.
Um, Mangaido is something like Webtoons, only you can publish it on normal pages.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
scroll doesn't matter. Anyway, there was something like that. And then I already have had many chapters. I just tried it. For me, for many years, I avoided publishing my work on online. But I thought,
Why?
um, ideas, that thing, and then giving it up for free. I thought, how can I make money from this? Something. But many years later, when I noticed a lot of people were into web comics, I thought, hey, why not? At least if somebody else reads it, even if they don't buy it, they get to read it.
Mm-hmm.
It won't fade into obscurity. Because I'm afraid of that. I developed the story for so long, and if very few people only few people read it, I'm afraid it would go to waste.
Yeah.
And so I
I get you.
published on a Mangaido, and then got a few views there. Some Then last year, we somebody and Bernie invited us to join Pen Lab and explain the concept to us, and then okay, sure, we agreed to publish there. Um, Only on the comics are more high resolution,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
clearer. We're there than Mangayde because I toned down the
The grace.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and what I mean is it's low res there because I
Okay.
really don't want to give it away.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so
So that
because I
was on
still have the
purpose.
books,
Yeah, that was on
yeah,
purpose.
still have the books. I mean, it's still readable,
Mm-hmm.
just not print worthy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if somebody
because
wants a good copy of it to hold in their hands, they still have to buy the book.
it's still different. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe the single ones are a little or it's just ordinary, but here I designed the book. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I designed the book. So I went through all the trouble designing it, and then I just want to make a little money out of it, just
Yeah.
to earn and continue it, so I can continue it because it's very expensive. Uh, it's even if I can make only a few copies, the fewer you make, the more expensive the copy is.
Yeah. That's true.
So so that's how it is. Anyway, that's how we joined Pen Lab. So now we're publishing there. Uh, and now I also tried Webtoons.
The Webtoons is the biggest is now I believe the biggest publisher of comics in the
Yeah,
world.
they have millions of
They
viewers.
have millions of viewers. I was looking earlier at Lore Olympus
Yeah,
and that thing has like 4.8 million subscribers or whatever it is. It's crazy. How is
monster.
how did you get into Webtoons and
Oh,
what's it been like?
remember that guy who used the book to whack somebody's face?
Really? Okay.
Uh, I just chatted with him a few months ago. And when we talked about it, he said, "Ate, I should try Webtoons para so I could monetize my work if I could monetize it. You
Mhm.
just try it." So, and then I said, "I don't know. Um, I was worried about the format
Okay, cuz you have to
because
cut it up in Webtoons.
yeah, I mean I've been working on CP for 20 years now, so I really don't want to rework my pages again because
Yeah.
I'm also right now I'm doing translation work for the digital,
Mhm.
and then I'm also working on a new issue, a new chapter and then I'm translating the book to have an English version.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 4 volumes and 700 something pages that needed reworking and retranslating, including the extras. That's a
Yeah.
lot of work. And then I thought, if I join Webtoons, I wonder if
You'll have to cut it up
I,
and
at first I thought maybe I should just put it there, just like Mangaido, upload it the same way, the same format.
Webtoons won't let you do that though, right?
No, I could,
You could? Okay.
but the audience is already used to the scroll down format, so it would be you'd risk not being read.
It would hurt
I
you,
think.
basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So I was iffy on that, and he told me, "Ate, I really think you should try it. I think you have an audience there." So
I agree.
okay, okay. Yeah, I was wary, but I also thought most of the comics they were colored. Why do I have to color mine? That's a lot of work because I tried coloring it once.
Yeah.
Um,
I was gonna
I
ask
tried it
that
for
next. Yeah.
yeah, I tried coloring it once in for issue 14 when I was still releasing singles.
Mm-hmm.
Back then I didn't really color most of it because it was expensive. And now it wasn't. Syempre, it's not the issue now because it's free.
Yeah.
It's just free. But the issue now is time. I really don't have time to color.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, do I have to color this?
Let me
But
ask something
maybe,
before you continue. If you were to
okay.
have colored it while you were doing it in print,
Uh,
how much more expensive would it have been
Back in that time,
back in that time?
imagine it 2 pages, 15 pesos each.
Additional 15 pesos each.
No, that's 15 pesos per side. So each 2 pesos is 15 pesos each. And then
Oh,
4 pages is 30.
oh wow. So it
That's the cheapest.
almost multiplies it by 8 times the cost. Okay. I understand why you didn't color it.
There's another way to do it cheaply, but I don't have that option, which is inkjet.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of indie artists who have home printers,
Yeah.
and then they have this bottle dispensers for inks,
Okay.
and some of them I bought, I don't know, 50 pesos full color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh wow.
The problem with that is it's not waterproof.
Oh,
So if you spill water on it,
it's
it's
over.
gonna be get destroyed. Yeah.
Okay.
The thing with photocopiers is even if it gets wet, it's still fine if you could dry it,
Yeah.
but it's expensive.
I get you. So
Yeah.
with the web comics, I was
So,
going to ask you if you were planning on on coloring them, but I
yeah.
forgot.
Okay. Let's go back a
Yeah.
little bit. When I was publishing my last 2 issues for Sancread, because I'm done with Arson. This is the first arc,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm on my second arc now. So when I was rendering my book in with crayons and dermatograph. Dermatograph is something like a crayon wrapped in paper and you peel it away. It looks like that. You can buy it in bookstores. It's really cheap. But it's basically a crayon. That's what I used for rendering CP for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then when I got to Sancread and I rendered it with that, I thought it was really ugly. Because back then I had, for some reason, the paper I was using was finer, and the crayons that I was using was also finer.
Okay.
Then it got really grainy. And then when I used it on my new arc, it was really ugly. I'm actually planning to rework that one, the grays only,
Mm-hmm.
and then use another technique, assimilating the same look, pero now digitally.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so Okay, so half. I'm half digital now, half. But all my line work is still traditional.
So you do traditional line work, scan it in, and then
Yeah.
okay.
So that's how I'm going to do the next chapters now. And
Is it
then
faster?
yeah,
Okay.
when I got into webtoons, then I uploaded it the pages the same way. And then Melvin, my husband, who's um, who's also a comic artist,
Yeah.
also got curious with webtoons, and then he studied it. And then we noticed something when we published the full pages. It it's gonna be a lot harder to read on the phone. I mean, on the computer, it's all right.
Yeah,
But
because the
when you
computer is the same thing as if you're reading.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
big, right?
Mm.
But when you're reading on the cell phone, you have to magnify it to read the text.
Mm.
Uh, it's totally different. I mean, we make it high res because you can magnify it. Uh, that's uh,
See. I
that's
see
the
your
reason.
point. I see your
Okay.
point.
So now so when I
I'm
initially
looking at my
uploaded,
I'm looking at my phone now just to see what
yeah.
just to yeah. But go on.
So at first I just uploaded it like Mangaido, and
Hmm.
then my husband mentioned you should put breaks in between the pages because it doesn't really work. Uh, you don't read smoothly when when reading it
Yeah.
down.
There's a white
Um,
break if you don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't work the same way when you flip the pages.
Yeah.
Even if you arrange it vertically,
Hmm.
it doesn't read the same way.
Okay.
So at first, okay, I uploaded it like any other, and I didn't announce to other people that I have a webtoon. I just uploaded it. Okay, so because my work is already on PenLab, and my if CP is going to catch wind sa
Fan
sa
lab.
webtoons, I'll just let it be.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't think about it much, and then until hubby brought about mentioned you need to put breaks there. I go and said that's gonna be too troublesome. And then I published it, and then I realized, yeah, when you read it on the phone, it's a little too troublesome. So it might some readers might not like it.
It does work. You basically have one page for every time you scroll
Yeah,
down.
but you have if you can't read it, there are some texts that are really small.
Okay.
So you have to the format you're reading now is the adjusted one. So imagine all the pages are just one straight scroll. And
Yeah.
then I said, and then he told me, down, you have to break your pages. He told me, because it's not going to work. And then I thought, I'll try. But the problem is, if you're familiar with shoujo manga comics, all the panels are overlapping.
Yeah.
And that's how I made most of my pages. They're all overlapping because it's included in the design. It's the design.
It's the
And
design of
it's
the
gonna
book.
be yeah, it's the design of the page.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be problematic for me if I break it down for webtoons because it's gonna cut some parts. So I thought this cannot I can't do this. I can't do this for webtoons. So I'll just have to I'll follow my hubby's advice. I'll just put a gap in between, just a black bar, and then that's it. And then when I was looking at other um let me put on record that I don't read webtoons before I got into webtoons
Yeah.
because I get dizzy.
With a phone.
Yeah.
With the infinite scrolling.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
It makes me dizzy. So I am a fast reader. So I like it bilis lang.
Mm-hmm.
When I read comics, I usually just I take my time and then next page. That's how I read. I read comics. So I don't read. As a rule, I don't really read web comics because it's uh, astigmatism is getting to me.
I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it causes me headache and eye strain. So I don't really read it. So that's how I understood how webtoons work, because when they separate the pages in the panels, it's gonna be easier to read for everybody. So I had to understand that. I had to realize it, and I didn't realize it until Melvin mentioned it to me that you need to break it and break. I have to put a gap, and then okay. So I put gaps, and then I upload. When I was about to upload the next chapter, and then I read some webtoons, and I finally started reading a few. Said, man, it does look good on color. It looks great in color.
And then,
Yes, and then so I thought, okay, maybe let's try coloring a few. So I chose some pages to color, and then when I colored it, mind you, since I made this comic 20 years ago, my skill level was different back then. So by my standards now, when I look at my older chapters, it's now ugly. I want to redraw it, but I can't redraw it because I don't have time. And I'd rather make new issues,
of course, yeah,
because that's the advice I took. Somebody told me, why rework it? Just continue.
of
Just make new
course,
ones. Because
you'll never
you're
be
going,
done.
yeah, it'll never be done. There will come a time when you have to rework it again and again and again, and it'll never finish.
Yeah, you'll find something else next time that you'll want to
Yeah.
fix up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I tried coloring it. I tried coloring well, just one page. Uh, just in time for the new program my husband downloaded. I haven't been coloring for a while. I avoided it. Even the chapter 14 I mentioned before, it took me some time to render that one. It took me such a long time to finish that I don't want to do it again. So recently my husband got Painter again,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the only program I really use to color. I mean, sure, I have Photoshop, we have Sai, but I just never got around to doing it because it takes too much time to learn something new,
Mm-hmm.
especially for me who only has a limited time to use the computer because my husband is using it for work, and then among other things. So I really don't have time to learn a new program. And then he acquired Painter again. Then okay, maybe I should relearn it again. And then I tried it on the CP page. And then when I rendered it with my current coloring style, I said, "Wow, I like it. I really like it." And then maybe I should upload a few pages in color, I thought.
Uh-huh.
So, and then I tried it. And I put it there and said, "Yeah, it looks nice." And then I thought, when I looked at it again, the order of the pages with just black bars, I since I'm a graphic designer, I saw it lacking. So I had to rework the whole presentation of the thing. I mean, there were some pages I broke down. I found a few pages that I can separate per panel, a few,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's the ones I reworked. The first one, in the first chapters, I just separated with a black bar, and then I added a little something to break the frame,
Yeah.
just to make it a little softer, because I really didn't like it either. Na it's just straight comic, straight line, black, and then comic again. I need a transition, good transition. And then I had to learn that while doing webtoons, and I said, okay, I'm already here. I just need to learn this. Okay, maybe a little effort. Find a few panels I can color. I also have to mention that when I was releasing CP sa anime, um, a reader of mine wanted to see this in color. I mean CP.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried using colored pencils. But the cost would still be the same, like I said, 15 pesos.
Yeah.
During back that time, it was actually 20 pesos is the cheapest.
Oh wow.
And then years later, it became 15. So it was expensive. So I was planning, okay, maybe I should release a few pages in color, in print, and maybe it was make it a limited edition or something, just to make it possible. And webtoons made it possible. So I have this panel in issue 3, issue 2. It
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be in colored.
I
And then I
see.
colored just that one.
Just that
Uh,
one
just
panel.
just that one panel. And then I rendered it the way I wanted to render it. And it looked great.
So what does that mean for the future of you on Webtoon?
um since I already started it, the first few pages, some of the pages are actually colored.
Yeah.
Just a few panels. Because I saw a few manga artists do that. That you make the first page colored, and then the rest is
First
black
two
and
or
white.
three pages colored, the rest is
Mm-mm.
black and white. Yeah.
Or they have this. A few artists also made maybe a dab of red,
Mm-hmm.
or just one focal panel with one color, and it worked. Maybe I thought, okay, maybe I could add just a hint of color in some of the pages. Maybe I think that's doable for me, as long as I can do it in one sitting,
Yeah.
or at least if I'm going to color a page, I can do it in one day, finish it in one day at least, or maybe a total of couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
If I can do that, I can. I think it's doable if I can easily break it down. So the future uploads in on Webtoons, it will have a few colored panels when it's
Yeah.
necessary. When it's necessary. When I don't find it necessary, maybe I won't. But
It looks great. It looks great.
have you seen it?
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. It looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope that works because I still didn't break it down per panel.
Still
It's
no.
tough for me to break it down. It's hard.
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
I see what you're doing. I see what you're saying that you're not breaking it down per panel, but the thing is on
mm,
a phone screen, it fits anyway. Like
mm,
it fits per page. So
mm,
I feel like it's not really that big a deal.
mm,
Um, so that's the one where, yeah, that looks great.
yeah. And also the red panel before that.
And and it's actually several pages. So
Yeah, that one.
I think there's enough space. You add in enough space to show that, you're only really supposed to look at these pages as a unit, and then
Mm,
these pages as a unit, and then this page as a unit.
mm,
So I think it works. I don't think there's a problem, but that's up
hopefully.
that's up to the webtoons readers to decide. So
Yeah. So far I have very few views because
you're
I
not
really don't
exactly
update.
promoting it.
I promoted it a few times, but since it's
Yeah.
already up in Pen Lab and in Mangaido, people already
Yeah.
read it. So it's a third third party thing. It's already published before. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the ones who read it on Pen Lab and read it in print and read it on Mangaido are not going to read the one on Webtoons because I never mentioned that I colored it.
And webtoons is the only place where it's in color.
Yes, because I had to adapt.
Okay.
It's adaptation, just merely adaptation for me. And the fact that maybe I just wanted to see it, I
Does
really
it does it
find it nice
matter to
and
you? Does
cool.
it matter to you where it's read? Like if somebody
No,
tells
not
you, it doesn't
not
matter
really, not
as long as
really.
people are reading it.
Yeah.
So does it still matter
Uh
to you that if people get the hard copy, or like how do you plan to monetize all of this web comic stuff?
oh. If I get enough readers on webtoons and I continue like that, the next chapters will be locked.
Mm,
Also on PenLab. I mean, I uploaded how many chapters on uh
you uploaded four
Mangaido?
chapters on Pen Lab. Yeah, okay.
No, I think I only have two chapters I think sa PenLab so far. But they're going to update soon, I think. So they're going to see three. But when I say chapters, that's the actual chapters of the comic.
Yeah,
Per chapter, I have at least 20 pages, at least, and then it decreases to 30. So every time I upload on digitally, I divide it into mga 10 pages each, or up to a point of the comic where I can where it's okay. I mean, yung break.
yeah. So
Uh,
you'll
the cliffhanger is okay.
so
So
right
sometimes,
now you have chapter two, part one, and chapter two, part two on Pen Lab. Are you saying that
yeah.
you would do chapter two,
Um,
part one for free, and then chapter two, part two will be locked, or
no, I think I can keep it free until up to a certain chapter. But
okay?
currently, the platform who has the most chapters is Mangaido. It's currently down because they had a little accident, I think, in their office. But uh, currently, the uploaded chapters are up to volume three. It's just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty far in the story. The only chapter I didn't include is the last book because I only sold that a few times. I mean the last book. So since for volume one to three, I've is already out for how many years now, and I haven't made much with four because I only released it I think a couple of times
Yeah.
because I had to stop because I had to rework it again. I had to translate it and then change printers
Mm-hmm.
because I in the future I might plan to print it digitally, hindi na
Of
photocopy.
course. Yeah.
So I can have better quality and they can see the grays better,
Mm-hmm.
and
So
then the format would be better.
so you'll be printing. You'll be buying an inkjet. No,
No,
no. Just
have it printed outside.
okay.
Yung there are publishers now that are printing
Mm-hmm.
digitally na. It's like a big printer, and then
Oh, okay. I
you
get
can
you.
make smaller numbers of your book. An example of that is Carla Rossi and Francis Martellino's Hot Dog Prince.
Okay.
It's printed digitally. It's not printed in a big printing house. So they had only a minimum of 500 copies, I think. But it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot more affordable, I think. But I might since we have a friend who can print like that. I might go
You may
would
as
do
well.
that in the
Yeah.
future. Yeah, but this time I have Filipino and English version for non-Pinoy readers.
Mm-hmm.
And all the pages that are published online are only in English. I
Yeah,
don't publish it.
because you're expecting an international audience to be
Yeah,
reading it. Yeah.
yes.
But do you have
So
a preference? Do you have a preference though in how it's read?
um hmm. Originally CP is written in English.
Okay.
So it might sound different in English. I
So
had to change a few things.
it was written in English, then you translated it to Tagalog, then you translated it back, or did you just use the original English?
I couldn't translate it back from the original English because one, pangit na yung script. I had to update it.
Yeah,
I have to update it. And then there are some things I cannot translate.
yeah,
I mean, for the longest time I like the songs and the poetic parts of the story sounded really nice in Filipino. And then when I try to translate it, it doesn't really work. It
yeah.
doesn't really work in the same way the direct, direct translation. I can't do it. So I had to redo the whole thing. I have to write a totally new song, a totally new poem for it.
That feels the same but is different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same gist,
same
same
gist.
gist.
Yeah,
But it
people
also
think
had
translating is easy, but it's translating is not easy.
no, it's
No.
an art. It's an art. I'm not
Respect,
saying I
respect the people who can do it for a living.
it's hard.
It's hard to
Yeah.
do.
Speaking of which, I'm reading a translated version of Card Captor Sakura, the clear card art,
Yeah,
and then somebody mentioned that the translated version you can see now online isn't exactly the same as the Japanese one, and there's something wrong with it
yeah.
plot wise.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
That's
so when I released my book, the English version, I told them we might read a slightly different CP. Because
yeah.
some dialogues work really well in English. Hidden meanings.
Mm-hmm.
You're reading between the lines. Sometimes you can't do that in Tagalog, and it while you can
Or
do
the
it
other
in
way around, right?
Filipino,
Or the other way
yeah.
around. Yeah.
Well, you can do it in either languages. You have to change a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Meanings doesn't translate the same way.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I'm on Netflix or like I go
mm,
pre-pandemic. I would go to the movies. I would watch a
mm,
Filipino movie, and then they always have those English subtitles, and
yeah,
it always takes me out of the story when it's wait, that's not what he's saying,
yeah.
but it's also the closest translation that they can get.
And
So
that's what
it's
I'm doing.
yeah,
Um, the song part. When back then I thought, oh, I hated that I can't translate it to Filipino. And then when I read it again, man, this is bad. I can't, I can't use this.
it's
I can't
okay.
use this. This is really bad. So
Yeah,
I really had to do it again.
yeah.
And then that's what happened with my translations. The only reason why I translated this in English because there was one time I was interviewed by a Japanese manga scholar,
Hmm.
an actual manga scholar.
That's cool.
And then they were interviewing different female creators in Asia. And then we were told that bring a copy of your comic so they can take it home with them. And I was thinking I only had volume 3 back then. And then I it's in Filipino. How can she read it? I, was, I thought, man, she can't read it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interviewed and she can't read it. I feel bad.
So how that work out? Mhm.
So now I translated it, but it took a while.
Yeah.
Took a long time for me to actually do it because a lot of things happened. So when was finally able to do it, when I found a reason to do it, because Mangaido, a friend of ours introduced us to Mangaido, and then now Webtoons, and then Pen Lab, I thought it a good idea to translate it in English. So when I read, if ever people want to read my book in printed form, they'll get something different too.
Of course. Cool.
Eh, It's
Yeah.
totally different. Also, the reason why I translated in Filipino in the first place, or published it in Filipino first, because a friend of mine told me that it sounded great in Filipino. So you have to be I have to check
You have to be
diction.
mindful of
Yeah.
both. Yeah.
Melvin, please check this. Does it sound right? No, it doesn't. Oh, how do I
Change
do
this
it?
part. Change this
Yeah.
part.
Which is the reason why we haven't translated Kanto Ink yet.
Oh
Because
no,
it's
that's gonna be hard.
a lot of jokes are going to change. The jokes are going to be different. I mean,
Will
even
it
he's
even
having a hard time translating Pasig.
will it even translate? I can't even imagine. That would be like
And
translating a Robin Padilla movie, you know? It's just don't
another
just
challenge is, I
don't
don't
do
know,
it.
Filipino words are longer.
Much longer. So you're left with a bigger balloon.
Yeah. Sometimes, but sometimes you have to, since you have to change the no, how do you say this? You have to change the tone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a challenge to fit it in one. So sometimes you'll read it. It's very different from the Filipino text and the English one. Also, there are magic terms. Since I'm working with fantasy,
Yeah.
that's another challenge because Filipino fantasy is very different from Western fantasy, especially RPG, RPG,
RPG based fantasy.
RPG based fantasy. It's very different, like life force, things like that,
Mm,
which are things I'm also using for the story, but has no Filipino equivalent.
yeah. So you're are you also using anything with that is purely Filipino and then
No,
English?
well, yeah, I had to when I reworked the pages.
Mm-hmm.
And there, the compilation has an author's note part at the back, which explains some things that I didn't want to explain in the comic. So there, I explain this is the concept behind it, which is also written in English.
Yeah.
But since I'm using that in Filipino, I had to change it because when I was reading it again, people will not get this if I don't change it. So I have to change it. And then I had to explain on my webpage that, um, guys, I had to change a few things in English because there were some things I couldn't explain in Filipino, so I had to do this. And now in English format, I can just say that it's just life force,
Yeah.
something like that,
I
which is
get you.
easier. And now in Filipino, I have to make this term just to explain that. It's
That's difficult.
yeah.
Well, and what's next for you for the book?
Oh, right now I'm still working on Sancred, which is the first one is arson. It is
Yeah.
arson, which is kind of like an introduction, the
Hmm.
whole thing. And
How
then
many
the
books is
second
it gonna be?
part,
How many books is it gonna be?
I don't know. I don't
Roughly,
know
how
yet.
many books will it be?
The next one,
No, no. How roughly
maybe
how many books will it be? Roughly.
the first arc was 4, and the second one is a lot longer. So maybe 4. I'll try to make it concise because I'm also editing it right now.
Yeah.
When I was reading the old script, uh, m- uh, this the current artist arc is something I really like. It's my favorite part of the story. But the since there are more people, the world is different. I might have to pace it differently, but I'll try to make it to pace it
Yeah.
as reasonably as possible. Yeah, it's gonna be a long time.
And what is the release
Uh,
schedule gonna be like for the online stuff? Will you be releasing them all
oh
at the same time, or
no
will?
no. In Pen Lab, I think they're um monthly. I think.
Hmm.
And then on webtoons, whenever I feel like it, I think.
Okay.
Oh, I think monthly then.
Yeah.
Before sa Manggaida, bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks I
Yeah.
upload it. Now I guess I can do that, but I really don't have time. If I have to fix it, I mean, I have to relay out the whole thing for the webtoons format.
Oh, so that makes webtoons later than everything else.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna make it. And I'm giving space for PenLab for them to upload my actual pages.
First dibs.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
So
fair.
I'm giving them space. Although I'm very tempted to release the third one along with the PenLab one, but maybe I
Mm-hmm.
can. It's kind of the same.
Well,
But since I'm not, I mean, I'm not saying telling other people that's different. I guess it wouldn't really matter because PenLab has its own audience, and so does
yeah.
Webtoons. So it doesn't. I don't think it matters unless I tell them that hey, it looks different
It
on
probably shouldn't
Webtoons.
matter. I don't think it matters. All
Yeah,
right. See,
yeah.
here's my last question. If you're a fixture in the local comic scene and you've been established in the local comic scene for a long time,
Mm.
how have you seen the scene change, the fandom change, and what advice would you give to anyone who's trying to make their own comics right now?
Oh, when you're talking about
The local
uh,
comic scene, yeah.
the local comic scene, it's flour- it's flourishing. Sorry about that. It's flourishing.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just a little sad, right? And because we're in the middle of a pandemic, because we don't have events.
Mm-hmm.
But platforms like Webcom, PH, PenLab, and Comic Spot, and Mangaido, Webtoons, or Tapas, uh, we have more venues to publish our works for free
Mm-hmm.
without um, without busting a buck. It's just good for for
Good for you,
starters.
yeah. Good for
And
a
we also
starter.
have Facebook. Some people publish on just Facebook.
Or Instagram.
Or Instagram. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of avenues to publish your work for free. So so money isn't an issue now. It's
Can you
just time.
can you talk about being committed to your story because you basically had the same story for 25
Um
years? Like,
okay.
how do you stay committed to the story that you came up with in 1996?
I just like it. If you're going to work on a story, especially a personal project, make sure you really like it.
Mm-hmm.
You like your story. If you're into it half-heartedly, you're probably not gonna finish it, and you'll get bored with your own work.
So you have to love it.
It just so happens that my story was being worked on for how many years now? For a couple of decades.
Mm-hmm.
And I developed it for 4 years, so I really couldn't let go of it. And since I got good feedback, it's a nice idea to show it to your friends. If your friends like it and they think, hey, you should pursue this, maybe you should. But you also need to want it badly enough or do it badly enough to finish it. I mean, not yet done.
Yeah, because comics are hard
Actually,
work.
yeah, it is. I mean, I know a few people I know a lot of people who'd rather work on short stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good for them because they got known for it. Unfortunately, I'm not very good with with short stories. I like long forms better, and I fall in love with with a lot of comic series that are
Longer, yeah.
longer because it clings to you.
Yeah.
The longer you, it's like getting to know their characters, and it's also the same for me because in my head the story is already complete,
Mm-hmm.
so I have reason to cling to it. So if you're going to make, you have to decide whether you want a short one for experimentation, and then if you have a longer story, just make sure you can work on it, or you can find somebody uh you can work with, so you can make it. I know a lot of I know it's hard to uh come out with many issues na in a short span of time.
Yeah.
But I know a lot who are really prolific. I don't know how they do it. But since I already have a family and
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of responsibilities, uh, I'm just being hard headed right now. That's why when people ask me how I'm doing this for 20 years, I just tell them that matigas yung ulo ko. I just tell I'm just really persistent because
And
I think it's a waste of my time to stop it too because I've been working at it for a long time. And I really want people to know the story in full.
and you love the story, and people are loving it. So, and now they
Hope
have multiple
I hope
ways to
so.
read it.
I hope so. Sometimes I think should I continue this? Actually, around volume no issue 12, I wanted to give up because is anybody reading this? I'm not selling this anyway.
But then,
But then there are a few dedicated people who actually read it and they want to see what happens next. So I'm my actual fuel right now is for the people who are reading it.
cool. I
And
hope
there are a number of them who
I
are reading
hope
it for
that
years.
you have. I hope that you get more subscribers on these things.
Yeah, hopefully. That's the reason
Yeah.
why one of my readers suggested webtoons because I just might get more people. So I tried it.
And
Uh,
webtoons is so big, and
yeah, which is really it's a different monster
it's
if you think
it's
about it.
it's different. They have, like, I think if you just go on webtoon, their interface is so good at suggesting things too.
Mm,
So like all you really have to do is show up on these things.
yeah, but it's really hard to stand out. It's
I'm
hard to
sure.
stand out.
I'm sure.
I saw the other comics and they were amazing, and then I'm here presenting something I made 20 years ago, and oh man,
I discovered webtoon because I had John Amore on the show with Justin Jordan for Urban Animal, and then I was like,
okay.
"You guys have 450,000 subscribers," and
Mm,
then Justin Jordan says to me, "Yeah, that's actually small for webtoon."
it is. I mean,
So I looked at Lore
I
Olympus and I'm like, oh wow,
yeah, I recently just found out that some of the Netflix shows are based on webtoons comics
hmm
that, that you can still read there. So if you're curious about the show and you want to read the comic, it's still published there.
and
It's amazing.
okay, here's my actual last question. You can pick anyone from any era. Okay, tell me
Okay.
who, if you were making a movie, who would play your main characters?
Chinchin Gutierrez and Albert Martinez.
Okay then.
You have to understand that I picked mestizas because the characters in my series are well
Yeah.
uh the end well how do I explain this? I really wanted my style to end up like a classical painting European
Yeah.
even if I'm practicing even if I'm practicing the manga style and the anime manga style. That's a kind of mastery I really wanted to achieve, but I really can't do it at the moment. But that's the reason why my characters look like that. They're tall, ano yun, Aquilinos is
Yeah. Yeah.
mestizas and white skin because that's how I originally envisioned it. Um, that's that's why it's Chin Chin because Chin Chin was so pretty. She was so pretty back then. Er, Now maybe it's after some time maybe it's Christina Hermosa. It's that kind of look
hmm
I'm
I
looking
see
for.
what you're
And
saying.
then yes, and then the guy needs to look mayabang. Looks mayabang but good looking. Because he's really, really vain. The guy is vain.
Yeah.
The guy in my character is vain.
Well, if you're vain and
Um,
not good looking, then you're just a vain person. You have to be good
yeah.
looking.
No, he has to be good looking. I
Yeah.
mean, basta. So I can draw him over and over. and my readers can, have their eye candy, right? Right?
Applause for the honesty.
Right? I mean, I wouldn't be drawing long-haired guys in my comics if I originally didn't like long-haired guys.
Yeah,
In like Zagato,
yeah.
he's he's good looking. Sino pa ba? Mamoru though, sa Sailor Moon is short haired, but the antagonists there are all long haired.
Just pick a random '90s
Yeah,
rock band singer,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that, but like Legolas,
like Legolas, Aragorn.
yeah, Aragorn, the long haired, sexy,
Yeah,
sexy, long haired guys
yeah.
that they look like L'Oreal,
Chris Hemsworth.
models, right? And then the girl is also equally long haired, only
Yeah,
longer than his, right? So, so like that. The only reason I like exploring webtoons right now because of the colored pages is because I really cannot describe or render my characters in black and white na yung full
yeah.
description.
I
I
can.
can only say that tell you, Silaya has this hair that actually glows.
Yeah.
Like Rapunzel. And actually Rapunzel's hair doesn't really glow all the time, but hers actually does.
Mm-hmm.
He had this coal glow, something like that. And Webtoons is allowing
You
me
can
to
tell.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell that you're a big Disney fan the way you draw hair. It's a
yeah.
huge
I
thing.
mean, I love the Disney stories. That's why I got into drawing. I wanted to be an animator,
Yeah.
and this is
I mean
the next best
that's a huge
thing.
trademark for classic Disney is the way they do hair. Uh,
Well, but if you look at anime hair, man,
yeah.
Sailor Moon's hair is like reaches the floor. It's so
Awesome.
long, and so is Emeralda's hair,
Yeah.
and it's also fun to render hair
Mm-hmm.
with inks, the shiny. And I like flowy things.
It's a
I like
great
flowy things.
visual.
Yeah, it's fun to draw. It's just really fun to draw. And so are
Awesome.
animals.
Do you have
As a,
you have anything else you want to plug before
besides, please, please support my title
the links will be down below
freestyle.
this video? The link
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
On Webtoons, PenLab, and
Mangaido.
Mangaido when they're up.
Yeah.
And then it's also when when this pandemic is
Uh,
over, I hope we get to see you during events and during Comic Con or Comic Cat.
Yep.
We can also order books on the Point Zero Comics page uh, on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I also have another story um, with a collaboration with my husband. It's called Canto Inc. If you want comedy
Yeah.
and if you want a different artist tackling your stories, that's something I could recommend to you, especially if you're not into indie comics yet. It's something you might enjoy with all the popular
Absolutely.
like the pop culture references and
Yeah.
all. Please read that. It's also available in PenLab, and also some of the chapters are available on Facebook. You can order it via the page, and then please please check out the PenLab and Webtoons versions because they're kind of different
They are
from the
different.
ones I published. It's
Okay.
different. Even the English ones, even if you just read the PenLab one, it's different from the Filipino version too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want best of both worlds, you can order by me next time when I have copies already. And I'll try my best to make it look good for you on Webtoons and PenLab. And especially the new chapters. Because the new chapters are, it's something new to me. I mean, Arson is quite entry level for me. And then the new chapters I'm trying to level up. So yeah, I hope you appreciate that when it comes out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Joanna. This was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.